Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Wednesday the 17th of August 2016 and we're briefly considering why a Donald Trump presidency will be good for gold and silver demand and prices. Firstly, we wish to add that the purpose of this video is not to say whether we believe Trump will become the next president. It's merely to discuss what may happen to gold and silver prices if he does. Having said that, and putting it bluntly, the next president of the United States is either going to be Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. And so it is indeed more than a slight possibility that he will be. Our assessment is based on a number of criteria, which hopefully we have simplified into 7 reasons. Reason 1. Without doubt, Trump has shown himself to be an anti-establishment candidate. Yes, he does have to listen to power brokers to a degree, but he's also a maverick, and a guy who, frankly, no one really knows where he stands. On many occasions, sometimes the same day, he contradicts what he has said earlier. And this lack of certainty creates an unsettling environment. This means that markets around the world will likely panic, not really knowing what he will do first or next, thereby creating a rush to safe assets such as gold and silver. And this, in our opinion, is the major factor that could potentially influence its price this year. Reason 2. Whilst Trump has a number of policy agendas still to announce, he has already given a fair indication on his position on business. US protectionism resulting in the threat and possible implementation of tariffs and trade barriers. Short term, this will create huge uncertainty and again result in a flight to hard assets, while business leaders attempt to make sense of what is going to happen. Reason 3. Though Trump claims to be a conservative, he has shown that he does have some considerable leanings towards a liberal, if not Democrat, social agenda. Yes, he has stated he will cut corporate taxes to 15% and personal income tax to 25%, which short term has to be paid for. He has promised more spending for the military and hinted at higher social security spending. The latter may be necessary as part of his negotiations with what is likely to be a Democrat-dominated Congress, where he will no doubt compromise towards a more social agenda to achieve the funding for his other programs. This will result in greater borrowings. More money will have to be printed, but rather than it being used to shore up the banks, it will in effect enter the marketplace, thereby reducing the value of the dollar, aka the greater the supply, the lower the price. Supply and demand economics. Thereby causing the dollar value of gold and silver to rise. Reason 4. Trump's whole business ethos has been to use other people's money and lending to fund expansion and growth. We have little doubt that he will attempt to continue with this as president, resulting in an even higher budget deficit, more money printing and a devaluation of the currency to fund what he will believe to be necessary capital infrastructure spending. Reason 5. Trump has already indicated previously that he is in favour of some sort of gold standard or partial gold standard. This has more recently been reinforced by one of his unofficial spokespeople, Roger Stone, who has practically lived on some of the major conspiracy sites these past few months. This, undoubtedly, whether it happens or not, will cause demand for investment gold and silver to rise, at least initially. Reason 6. Increased likelihood of global insurrection and civil war thereby creating military tensions and instability, which is always good for gold and silver prices. We have already seen what happened to gold and silver when Russia took over Crimea and allegedly threatened the Ukraine. While Trump has already indicated that he wanted to remove troops from a number of overseas destinations which are currently maintaining a degree of control and policing services. With these troops removed, then similar occurrences as now seen in Iraq and the rising of ISIS-type organization to fill the gaps may very well become the norm. Reason 7. The potential collapse of the dollar due to credit default. Assuming none of the previous reasons materializes. Well, one which could completely undermine the value of the dollar was Trump's comments made back in May, where he floated the idea that if he becomes president, the government might try to make a deal with US debt holders for partial repayment of the money that the government owes them. The New York Times quoted him as saying on CNBC, quote, "I would borrow, knowing that if the economy crashed, you could make a deal. And if the economy was good, it was good. So therefore, you cannot lose." Unquote. Bloomberg added that Trump implied, quote, he might use his business skills to reduce America's debt burden by pushing creditors to accept write-downs on their government holdings. Unquote. The very fact that Trump has indicated this as a potential strategy will, should he be elected president, immediately cause panic in the money, capital and credit markets, which have an exposure to government debt. Dollars will be sold and the credit rating agencies will downgrade the dollar immediately, resulting in an immediate flight to gold and silver. So there we have it. 7 reasons why Trump presidency will be good for gold and silver prices. Admittedly, it paints a frightening picture. However, in business, politics, and life in general, we must all prepare for both the inevitable and the inconceivable. We hope you are. And have. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumb up and share it on Twitter. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe as a free member for regular email updates and offers. Our Facebook page, which is updated regularly, can be found at facebook.com/illuminatisilver. Disclaimer. Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.